When a young boy comes running down the stairs in the middle of the night, his parents are left puzzled. They're even more shocked when they discover why. We've all heard our fair share of creepy stories that have to do with suspicious sounds and real-life events that seem to defy logic. Still, we rarely believe them when we hear them from others. It's quite another thing to see something unexplainable for ourselves. These spooky encounters can be especially terrifying when witnessed as children. This story from a young couple will leave you shocked. But before we start, smash the like button and make sure to subscribe if you haven't, and hit that notification bell so that you won't miss any new stories. Although other parents struggled with bedtime, Anna and Tom Beckett felt blessed that their toddler son Benjamin never made a fuss. But all of that was about to change. Anna and Tom were a little worried about their upcoming move to a new home. Benjamin was too young to understand why they'd been packing for the past week. Anna and Tom spent all day getting organized and putting away their belongings. They went from room to room with boxes and bins. Benjamin stayed close to his parents the whole time. He felt like something was watching him, even though the grown-ups didn't seem to notice. After a long day, Tom was surprised when Benjamin didn't want to go to bed like usual. He'd always been such a good sleeper. Anna figured he was just upset about all the commotion from the move. They didn't realize that there was already something lurking in the house, something they hadn't brought with them. Instead of sleeping through the night, Benjamin kept sneaking downstairs or into his parents' room to wake up Anna and Tom. For the first few nights, they let him sleep in their bed or stay up a little later on the couch. Finally, they insisted that Benjamin go back to his room. That weekend, Anna and Tom were sharing a glass of wine in the kitchen when they heard an odd thumping noise. She jumped when Benjamin appeared on the landing in his pajamas. He pointed at his room, screamed, and bolted towards her, softly, hoping that it would make him comfortable enough to share. When she finally found out the answer, she would regret doubting her son's fear. "Doll," Benjamin screamed, tears rolling down his face. "What wrong, baby?" Anna asked. Instead of answering, Benjamin shook his head and pointed towards the stairs. Amanda and Tom exchanged a look. There was one thing in their relationship that they never spoke about. It gave Amanda chills just to think about it. But maybe, with everything that had changed recently, they would have to finally talk about the mysterious secret they'd learned when they adopted Benjamin. Amanda and Tom wondered whether they'd made a terrible mistake. It's important to have a background to their story. The young couple had met years before when they were just Tom Beckett and Anna Lawson. They'd both signed up for a woodshop workshop on a whim. Since everyone else had come with partners, the two strangers were paired up. Tom and Anna had such a good time together that they both decided to complete the entirety of the workshop course. When it was time for it to end, the two exchanged numbers and promised to catch up after. After their coffee date, they promised to go on a proper one soon after. Anna felt like she had a second chance after months of regretting that she'd never gotten in touch with Tom. Anna and Tom went on another date, and soon they were seeing each other frequently. Anna was 31 and Tom was 35, so neither of them felt they needed to waste time. "We're just right for each other," Tom recalled, smiling. The couple was married 6 months later, but their time together wouldn't always stay so perfect. Married life was great for Tom and Anna. The couple, however, did feel like one thing was missing. Both Anna and Tom had grown up wanting to have a child. After a year of failing to conceive a baby, the young couple decided it was time to see a doctor. On the day of the appointment, Anna and Tom got ready early and made their way to the clinic. They were given a brief consultation before the doctor sent them to have various tests run. The results were finally in, and the couple was excited once more. They quickly scheduled a follow-up meeting and gleefully waited for the day of the appointment to arrive. Sadly, the news the couple was about to hear would leave them devastated and confused about achieving their dreams of becoming parents. The doctor explained that Anna had a rare kind of cyst that had pressed down on her ovaries. Unfortunately for Anna, the cyst had done irreversible damage to her uterus, leaving her infertile. The news was devastating and the couple was too upset to think. The doctor had mentioned several options. The couple did feel they were ready to start figuring out their next steps. The doctor shared the name of many orphanages with them, and Tom and Anna started their journey to finding a baby to adopt. But even children can have secrets. Tom and Anna filled out the paperwork to become adoptive parents and prepared for their home study. They knew that their house was a little small, but the evaluator seemed happy that they could provide a loving home for a child. Eventually, they were approved. The adoption agency helped them narrow down their search. They arranged to meet a few children in their area. Although they both agreed that they'd wanted a baby girl, Anna was shocked to find herself feeling connected to the first little boy they met. He had such an incredible smile. Tom realized that this was the child they'd been looking for. Their lives were about to change, and not necessarily for the better. It was soon decided that the couple would be adopting the little boy. The adoption process was long and difficult, but they were able to visit periodically. The boy was named Benjamin. After a 7-month-long process, the paperwork was finally complete. Anna and Tom were so excited. They made sure Benjamin's room was as welcoming as could be. They bought toys and decorations to help him settle in. When they took custody of Benjamin, Anna noticed that he was carrying a small bag of his belongings besides what the agency planned to drop off later. When she reached for it, Benjamin seemed reluctant to turn it over. She had to insist. What could be so important that he wouldn't even let her see? When she opened the bag, she saw a few ordinary items, but when she reached the bottom, she had to bite back a scream. It was an old doll that gave Anna the chills. When Tom and Anna texted the agent to ask about it, she explained that Benjamin had had the doll for a long time and was very attached to it. She said there was no way they could get rid of it, but maybe they should have. Tom and Anna decided to follow the agency's advice and not throw away the doll. The weeks following Benjamin's move into the home were great. Although Tom and Anna bought Benjamin new toys, he preferred to play only with his doll or with the doll by his side. They started to worry that he was becoming. After a year, Anna and Tom figured that Benjamin was comfortable enough to handle another change. They talked to him about the idea of moving to a new home that would have more room for him to play. He said he would think about it. That night, Anna swore she heard him asking the doll if it wanted to go. Benjamin was more than happy to move and seemed ready to go at any moment. All he cared about was taking his doll. Anna had promised to stop worrying about it. That was her first mistake. That was why, a few months later, Anna was so shocked that Benjamin was crying about his doll. He seemed afraid of it. After being inseparable for so long, she wondered what had changed. Tom followed her up the stairs. For a moment, she swore she heard a voice from down the hallway. The couple made their way down the hall, Anna holding Benjamin tight in her arms and Tom holding a baseball bat in front of them. Upon opening the door to Benjamin's room, they saw his old doll on the floor. Benjamin pointed out the doll as the culprit and screamed. The doll spoke. "Benji, are you there?" Tom and Anna couldn't believe their ears. Tom lurched forward and swung the bat, crushing the doll. When he stopped, he couldn't believe his eyes. Tom nudged the pieces of the doll and was horrified to see that it had been full of electronics. There was clearly a camera visible and what looked like a speaker. Who had been talking to his child all that time? For a few minutes, the voice refused to respond. Finally, Tom and Anna had had enough. They informed the person that they would be turning the doll over to the police and reporting it as a crime. It was then the mysterious voice returned. This time, however, the voice had a sad explanation to give. "Wait, I can explain," the voice finally responded. He introduced himself as Benjamin's biological father. He explained that both he and the biological mother could not afford to care for Benjamin, so they gave him up for adoption. But they wanted a way to stay in touch with their son. After hearing the story and verifying the identity of the biological father, the couple made a joint decision. They decided to invite Benjamin's biological father over to have lunch with Benjamin. They were nervous, but it seemed like the right thing to do. Benjamin's father, Mike, was a lovely person who apologized for scaring them. It was never his intention to upset Benjamin, but Anna and Tom still had a much bigger decision to make. What would they do in the future? The couple told Mike that he could visit on a schedule to keep his connection with Benjamin. Although the doll was thankfully not possessed, it did bring a shocking new person into the lives of the Becketts and their baby boy.